Hello, woodchucks and farmers. Welcome back to Oceanside Forest, where I've just spent the last hour and a half or so cutting down about 100 trees up here and getting them all down to the sawmill. All the stumps are gone. Billy just follows right behind us and takes care of them as we go. But yeah, 100 trees. So this is what it'll look like if we fly on up here, get the drone on up. And I'm going to be working on this little section over here. Hopefully I can get that all cleared out, but by the time we get to fall planting, which could be very soon. Because, yeah, time's going to be flying by here pretty quick. If we get it done, that's great. If we don't, well, not much we can do about it. So I'm going to get that cleared up, hopefully, by next episode. Possibly. Who knows? But anyways, yeah, it's time to move on from April. I've been sitting out in the rain long enough. And our chicks should, or they're not chicks anymore, our chickens should be reproducing next month. So, or overnight. So we should have more than the 33 chicks, one rooster, is it? Is it 33 in one? 32 in one. Well, I knew there was a 33 in there somewhere as a total. So we can see, yeah, they're 50%. 2 months for reproduction, so 1 month is 50%. And next month, yeah, we should have a whole bunch of chickens. We're going to sell the roosters as they are born, I do believe, because they should not be reproducing, because it doesn't show it here. But you never know. Same thing with the male ducks. But since they're not eating that much food currently, we're going to go ahead and just see what happens when these reproduce, which will be in a couple of months. But anyways, let's go ahead and I think we're good to go. Oh yeah, the sawmill. Where do I got to go for that? Sawmill is doing. What are we doing here? Oh, I'm out of firewood. Okay, we can get that there. Not that big of a deal. But the sawmill itself, I got about 500,000. Okay, it's down a little bit. Wood chips, we're going to have to sell those. The only thing I got to sell out of the sawmill is the wood chips. I can't put that on selling directly because I'll go to the shipyard and we'll just get a whole bunch of cash for that. And I don't want to do that because they'll kind of ruin it. Yeah, it's worth like, if we look at it currently, I would get paid over $1 million for wood chips at the shipyard. But if I were to go to, you can see where Billy's only like 1/3 the price as a ship port. So that's why we're not selling there. But anyways, let's go ahead and move on till May. It's going to take a moment because I think it's only like noon or something like that in April. Actually, we do have a job to do. We should have some weeding in the sorghum field over yonder, so we'll probably go take care of that, actually. We can do that. Overnight, let's go see, is the sawmill, how's that doing? It probably went through everything. Wood chips, yep, we're going to have to sell the wood chips today as well. And missing material wood, yep. Okay, we'll take care of that all together. Chickens, yeah, we got a whole bunch, 179 males, 179 chicks. So these right here, we're just going to go ahead and sell these. And the ducks, next month, they should reproduce. So currently, yearly food, they would need 61,000 liters for, ooh, that's only like, just shy of 400 chickens. They would need 61,000 liters. Oh boy, that's getting to be a lot. Let's teleport up to the chicken pen. We'll get rid of the chickens that we don't need. Sounds kind of weird to say it that way, but that's what we're going to do. Where is this trigger? There's the trigger. And let's see, the males. We'll click on that. And 60 of them. Price is 60. Transportation fee is 60. We get 0. Not that big of a deal. Not that big of a deal at all. Wait a minute. Do I still got some males in there? Or, I'm sorry, you only can sell 60 at a time. All right. No problem. And we still got some more. Hopefully I'm just selling the males only. I'm not wrong clicking here. There we go. So now we're all set. And the chickens should be fine. Let's go ahead and we'll grab the winter wolf. Leave the logging trailer out, because obviously I'll be using that in between episodes. Cutting down some more trees. The weather's looking good. But now we need the grain trailer. And we'll at least get the first load sold, and then we'll let it fill up, and we'll grab our New Holland See and Spot weed sprayer. And we'll take care of the weeds that it should have grown in that field through the trees here. Actually, you can see the crop growing over there, so that's a good sign. I mean, of course it's going to grow. We're not playing with seasons in FS19 where there was always a possibility where things would not grow. Bark mulch, wood chips. Alright, let's load that on in here. Alright, so while that's loading, let's go ahead. I got some maneuvering around to do here. Well, we'll jump into that. Where am I here? Keep turning around. There we go. There's the door. Oh, I got flight mode on, so that's why I can't get into a vehicle. Let's turn that off. Actually, I also got to fertilize that field over there because I ran out of fertilizer. That's right, the See and Spot sprayer is over here now as well. Should be, and it's over there. Park this right here. Just got to do a little bit of a do-si-do. It doesn't matter which tractor I use, but I think we'll use the JCB Fast Track. I don't need narrow tires because the crop is still in the first growth stage, so I shouldn't destroy any of it. So I got to fertilize. This is that little bit of a field right there. As I run into the sprayer. That's not what you want to do. Okay, let's go ahead and unload this. And I just want a little bit of liquid fertilizer, not a whole lot. I don't know how much it's going to take. This should take liquid fertilizer. I haven't really done liquid fertilizer in the sprayer before. Well, it's giving me the option, so liquid fertilizer. Whoa, that fills up really fast. But we are fine there. Alright, I'll leave that running for a second. I'm sure our truck is going to be jumping back and forth a little bit here. The Winter Wolf is full. Let's go drop off these wood chips. It's not about the money at this point. It's just getting rid of them, basically, is all I want to do. And I don't have to do it that often. And plus, it's also good, a while back, putting all that stuff on direct sell. Man, that would take me probably like half hour, 40 minutes to load up even just the auto loader and come down here and sell everything, go back and forth, back and forth. And some may say, why not put the wood chips that's on direct sale to the shipping port if the money's not really worth it? Well, I do want to kind of see how much money we're going to end up at the end of the series. And by going to the ship port, it would just be extreme amount. And I'd just rather not do it that way. Besides, I'm only going to do the wood chips maybe once every 4 or 5 episodes at most, probably. Oh, I could use some diesel fuel as well. I'm making a few trips up and down the hill with the logs, of course. And even the tree harvester, I think I've used about a half tank of fuel up there. Alright, so there's one load. I'm hoping to get the rest of that area cleared out up there by the time we get to next episode. Well, basically, it's like I think it's September we plant the wheat, so that's going to be very key for us. And by the looks of just seeing the chicks this morning, how much feed we're going to need, I'm starting to think that estimate that someone told before, 3 million liters of feed for 20,000 birds, is probably going to be pretty close. So we're going to need a lot. Will I ever get there, though? That is the question. It's starting to feel like it may take a while for me to get 3 million liters of crop out of the ground. I may actually have to change the crop rotation in the future just to help us out to get that much feed in a year. Whoops, with the current amount of land that we have. And the sad thing about it, but it would be kind of difficult to do so, it's not like I can just hire a worker to go around and cut the trees. That can't happen. And also I got to clear out the trees around here at some point, and not for land. I'm going to need space for the other chicken coops, because we only got 4 down. I need a total of 10. All right, just to make sure I shouldn't destroy the crops driving in here, correct? It's only the first growth stage. Yeah, we're fine. I think it's this side that needs the fertilizer. Yes. So that's another good thing about precision farming. If you are fertilizing a field, you can bring up the map, and it will show you the fertilizing quality in the field that you're currently in. So yeah, you can see the little strip that we kind of ran out on when we were drilling last month. So after seeing some numbers now on the chicks, I'm starting to think we're going to need to expand on these power lines. That's probably going to help us out. I will admit, though, when I first started the series, cutting down the trees and doing it that way, I'm like, oh, this is going to be a lot of fun. Today, yeah, that fun's starting to wear off just a little bit, cutting down trees. Just a little bit. But when I get done cutting the trees, as I run over a deer, when I get done cutting the trees in the area that I'm going to be putting a field in, it does feel good to know that, hey, we cleared out that area, and now it's going to be farmland. And that is part of the challenge. So I will leave the fertilizer in this sprayer here. I will leave the JCB there. I think this is still running. Yeah, not that it matters. I don't care that I'm using fuel. I got the money to buy fuel. Let's go ahead and we will put herbicide in here. And you know what? I might as well just go top this off with fertilizer. Yeah, it's not fertilizer. Herbicide. It should. That's all I should be using it for. I don't see myself actually needing to do fertilizer. And if I do, I can always buy another one and just put fertilizer in that. I mean, it is kind of nice having just a whole bunch of money. It's like, you know, this piece of equipment will cost 300 grand. Yeah, I'll just go buy another one. I got plenty of cash. So, no weeds in the wheat field behind us because that field was plowed this year. Same with these two fields here. We had to plow those because I didn't plow them the first year that we were here. So I expanded I made the fields with a cultivator, not a plow. And with precision farming, if you do plow a field for 1 year, the weeds will not grow. So that's why no weeds. Let's just come on down here and we will grab the Winter Wolf and we'll go sell those wood chips and I'll bring it back up here and then we'll refill it. And then we'll bring the seed and spot sprayer over and take care of the weeds that we have. It's not the whole field over there that's got weeds. It's just a little section of it. Winter Wolf is rather dirty. But that's what you get when you do logging in the rain. I thought about getting a bigger trailer just to get the wood chips. That way I could do it in one trip or something, but it's not that difficult. Plus, I mean, how do you not like driving the Winter Wolf up and down the road? We don't need the mini-map anymore. We're all set with that. So I may have another look at the crop rotation to see how much... Because leaving a field fallow for a year does help our other two rotations, but if I were to plant another crop in it, and yeah, it lowers percentage for all three, it still may be better to do that than not have any crop in a field for a complete year. So basically what I'm thinking, and I think someone may have left a comment to it, oh, this is set up from, I wish the crop rotation remember what you had in the save game, not overall. So we should be sorghum, fallow, wheat. So yeah, in 3 years, I'm getting basically 215% yield, right? But if I were to put... I don't think sorghum twice in a row is good. What does that do? So that would be 175. Yeah, like not 265, yeah, 265. That'd be 265% yield, basically. The numbers don't look as good, but in 3 years, I will actually make more doing that, if that makes sense. Or if I just do this rotation here, I mean, it doesn't help us out at all, but it's 300% rather than the 215%. Something to think about. But that crop rotation, pretty much, if that's the way it's going to be, why even have it on? Because it's not really doing anything either. But we'll leave it on just in case we decide to change our minds on what we want to do. I think my thinking is correct in that crop rotation. That, yeah, hurt the yield in the other 2 years, but let's not have a fallow field and actually plant a crop that the birds can use. Yeah, I'm not looking just to put a crop in a field. It's got to be a crop that we can feed the birds a crop. I'm going to let that fill on up. I think this is like a 30, I forgot what it was, like 32, 35 meter wide working width. I mean, this series would be a lot easier if I could just put the tree harvester in a little spot and just hit H for hire worker, and it goes and just starts cutting trees on its own. So this is a sorghum field. I'm going to start unfolding our sprayer. And we should have weeds somewhere. Let me get the map out, because that may help us out. Just to give me a rough idea if I'm in the right area. Yeah, if I scroll on in, you can see where the weeds are. So we'll just go around. I don't think it shows you on the map the weeds. No. So it shows you fertilizer, but it does not show you where the weeds are. I don't think I have to turn on see and spot spraying, do I? Full sprayer change working with, that should be automatic. I can see the weeds on my screen barely, so it all depends on how you're viewing today's episode, if you can see them or not. I can just barely see them myself. Hope the deer are not eating our crops. It's for the birds. Yeah, that field up on the hill that we're currently working on, though, is starting to look like a really nice sized field. So, by the time September comes, yeah, I'm hoping for like 250,000 liters off this field here. So the one up on the hill, if I had a crop in that one as current size, I would expect more than 250,000. Of course, it all depends on the soil. That's strange. I thought the working speed was faster than 8 miles an hour on this. Oh well. We are getting rid of the weeds anyways. And I'll overlap here quite a bit just to make sure I'm covering everything. Although if I miss a few weeds here and there, it's not the biggest deal in the world. Alright, now you can probably see for sure where we've been. You can see how the weeds are already dead on the other side. So one more trip up and back, and this field is done, and we are done weed spraying for the season. Someone did mention, though, with the amount of eggs that we're going to be getting, it might be wise to get ourselves like the bakery and do something inside the bakery. And now, I mean, we're making enough money as it is, so it's not, I don't want to add another production on top of what we already have. I have started thinking a little bit, though, to save myself some time. You know, cutting down the trees does take a while, and like that hour and a half I did before I started recording today, it was an hour for cutting down the trees and a half hour for bringing the logs on down. I was actually starting to think of just getting rid of the logs as I cut them, because that would save me a lot of time. And there is, on the Easy Developer mod, if same thing as for remove stumps, I could just remove the logs and pay myself a small amount for the logs that I sell. But I'm gonna keep on pushing on the way we've been doing it. But if it gets to be a little bit too much, then maybe I'll start just deleting the logs and giving myself a little bit of cash for logs. Okay, so we can bring this on back. We use it for 5 minutes. That's all we need to use it for a year. That's what you do with a $300,000 vehicle. Just use it for 5 minutes a season and then park it on up. But as we keep on farming here, I won't be plowing the fields that are currently there. So each additional year now, we're just going to have more and more weeds to deal with. So next year, we'll have more to do. Now, like I said, I got probably room here for 1, 2, 3 more chicken coops. So that'll get me up to 7. So to put 3 more down, I would have to clear out some trees here, I think. Originally, I thought I could fit 9 at the chicken farm, but yeah, those pens are a little bit bigger than I thought they were going to be once we placed them on down. This goes in here. Perfect. I keep getting myself turned around when I back in there for some reason. Close that back on up. I think all my vehicles are off, right? Now we look at the weeds, they should be all dead. Should have checked that before I left, but yep, they're all gone. Let's jump back into the Winter Wolf. This is our 3rd trip down, so that's 360,000 liters, so that's about half. Actually, not even half of what was in the sawmill. And originally I was going to use, I forgot, biomass heating plant. That would take wood chips, but I don't think the amount of wood chips that we're producing that the biomass heating plant would keep up with this. And again, I'm like, that's just another production building. But if I had the biomass heating plant up there by the sawmill, I could just put the wood chips on distribute, and it'll go to the biomass heating plant, and it'll burn it as we go. I should look into that, because that would save me a little bit of time of coming on down here, like I said. Just trying to make the production buildings self-efficient, make them just run on their own. Other than me bringing the wood on down to them, I wouldn't have to do much. But I feel like the biomass heating plant is going to be like the power plant on Goldcrest Valley, to where, yeah, it's going to use it, but not as fast as you would hope. Let's get ourselves some diesel into Winter Wolf. So, harvest time for the wheat. When is that roughly? I kind of forgot. Is that like... Looks like July. I think I planted it as early as I could. So, July we got harvest time for wheat. And then sorghum won't be until September? Or, no, August. Alright, so July and August is when the harvest time is. Now, I do have a repair area up at the main farm, but this truck rarely gets up there. And something is worn out rather quite a bit here. The Winter Wolf, $33.32 to repair that. And we'll repair the trailer for $32 while we're here. Don't know what it really affects on the trailer not being repaired, but at least now the stats all look good on this setup, fuel-wise and repair-wise. Really need to make a little bit of a path over here as well. I take this quite often when I'm doing this, as you can see. I still need to get some landscaping done around here, but I've been too busy cutting down trees, obviously. Alright, we'll let that refill. I think I said about 500,000 liters left to take out of there. But we're going to scoot on down here and just have a look inside the chicken pen to see exactly how much. I think we got now just 200 chicks, right? After we sold all the baby roosters that we had. As for the dog Liberty, I'm not sure where Liberty went. I have no idea. I have not seen the dog at all. So if anyone knows about the disappearing dog, let me know. How are we doing on eggs? Well, they're slowly piling on up. Well, there's Ronnie the rooster. Ronnie's been around even before Farming Simulator was on this channel. And all the chicks we got in here are hens. So it looks like modeling wise inside here, looks like they got a lot. They downsized how many of the adult chickens that we see. And we see more of the baby chicks. So it looks like they only, if we count bird-wise, maybe like 20 birds in here at a time that we're going to be able to see. Obviously, you can just imagine 2,000 chickens running around in there. That would be ridiculous. That would be just a little bit too much. I really don't know. Oh, there you are. Hello. Did I pet the dog? I don't know if I did or didn't. Are the pet. It's a good boy taking care of all the birds. Yeah, no predators around whatsoever with Liberty running around. Don't know where Liberty's been. And oh, look at that. We're up to 7,000 liters of manure. Originally, I thought maybe we'd take the manure here and fertilize the fields. I think we'll just let it pile up and maybe we'll sell it at some point. This will hold 4 million liters, I do believe, so we got plenty of space in there. Alright, so with nothing else to do today other than this little task right here, we're going to cut down a few trees. As you can see, probably a couple hundred still in this little section. So it may take me a couple of hours to get this little spot cleared out, but it's a spot I definitely got to clear up by the time it, you know, we're planting wheat in here this year. Now I do have one small little issue with this tree harvester. The arms or the booms or whatever you call them where you're from. But every once in a while, the booms he'll creep in on the tree harvester. I like the boom to be extended the way it is. That way the logs are further away from the tree harvester, and less chance for them to get caught up in the tree harvester and do the whole thing. But every once in a while, the boom will inch itself closer and closer and closer to the cab. And the one fix I thought about doing, but then I would have to bring it back up here. Sometimes resetting a vehicle will take care of that. Kind of like the situation I had with the Fiat on Solyndra, to where for some reason it wouldn't drive anywhere. It would just, like, the transmission was locked up on it or whatever. The case may be, like, it was frozen to the ground and I would have to reset it. Actually, I could reset it with Easy Developer Mod. Yeah, I could just do that. I could just do that, see if that fixes it. But it's one of those things to where the boom, it could stay in that position for like about half an hour, and then for like 15 straight minutes as I'm cutting trees, it just, you can see it like it's spazzing out, and it just creeps in right up to the cab. And when I mean it creeps in, it does, let's see, it would do this. It would just creep in on its own and end up like right there. And I like it extended out like that. Just my preference. I think in real life you probably would want the cutter closer to the tree harvester just because of the leverage and all that stuff. So honestly, by the time I get done clear cutting this little section here, in this little circle, we're going to be pretty close. In case I didn't show you, we are getting pretty close to, well, not just yet, but we're up to 1,700 trees cut. So we're getting up to that 2,000 mark here by the time I get done with this little section. Which I thought was going to take a while, but then that's me being stupid after realizing, you know, the other field that I cut last season, that was 300 trees. It may not look like there's 200 trees here, but if you were to start counting, it's probably going to be pretty darn close to that. And what I do is I go around, I cut these trees, of course, and once the stumps start really giving me a hassle, or every once in a while I'll cut a tree down and not really pay attention to make sure the cutter is relatively close to the ground. I'll leave a stump up that's a little bit too high. As I go around the stump with the tree harvester trying to cut the trees, I keep, you know, going over it. I've yet to get stuck in the tree harvester on a stump. But once it becomes a nuisance with the stumps around here, I just kind of snap my fingers and let Billy do his thing. And quickly get rid of the stumps. See, that stump there is just a little bit too high. So, you know, if I'm not paying attention, I start working around there. It'll take a second for the tree harvester to manage to get around it. Every time I do the stumps, I just think about, imagine if I didn't have that option just to remove the stumps. I don't know how far we would have gotten in the series before I rage quit, having to, you know, actually grab a stump cutter and remove all the stumps. But after about 1,700 trees, I probably would be pretty darn good at it. And sometimes we do cut down these little trees like this, and that counts as a tree. So usually what I do off camera is I just get into a rhythm and I just keep going around cutting trees, and when enough logs get on the ground, that's when I grab the Winter Wolf and start loading up the logs. Well, I say I start loading up the logs, the autoloader does. I try to contain myself from overloading the logging trailer, and that causes a lot of my problems of the log shifting around back there and jiggling and all that, and sometimes tipping over when you least expect it. So if you overfill the logging trailer, it's very likely you're going to tip over. It just gets way too top heavy. And of course, when I do tip over, I definitely use super strength to flip it back over, but sometimes super strength won't even do it. $13 I'm approaching in this tree harvester. And that's all me. But I will say it seems like at times I've been in this thing longer than 13 hours. So let me know down in the comments below as we were going through, about 10 minutes ago on a crop rotation. Do you agree with the numbers that it's better off to maybe do the rotation like this? Where are we here? Rotation. Currently, this is what we're doing. So we get a little bit of a bonus on the wheat, and we get a little bit of bonus on the sorghum, but that only adds up to 15% bonus, basically, because the standard yield would be 100%, right? If you do, all the fertilizing, everything needs to be done. Or I think it's, personally myself, better this way, because this way we get a yield of at least 100% of barley, which we can feed the chickens. So that equals 300%. That only equals 215%. So I think I need to put barley in a field. I always love it when I get the tree that says it cuts, but it doesn't cut. And don't hit any of the trees when you're trimming the limbs off a log. You can send your tree harvester down the road a bit. I'm starting to think the way it's going, by the time the end of the series comes, whenever that may be, we're going to be probably close to 3,000 trees cut, minimum. I think I'm going to call that for tree cutting for myself today. Like I said, I did about an hour and a half before I started recording. So let's turn that off and we'll head back on down because it should be full. Take another trip on down with the wood chips. But by the time next episode rolls around, fingers crossed, all those trees and that little section up there will be cut and be put into the sawmill. And we can start maybe prepping. We'll see what time of the year it is. Start prepping a little bit for planting some wheat or barley in that field this upcoming season. I don't think messing with a crop rotation of wheat, barley, and sorghum, I don't think no matter what order I put it in is going to matter. I think all being a cereal crop, it's just going to be 100%, 100%, 100%. But I'm 95% sure that's what we're going to be doing for planting. Having a fallow field now seems like not a great option for us. It all didn't seem that bad. We only had about 8 birds in there, and it's like, oh, you only need about 10,000 liters a year for these 8 birds. It's like, all right, so I don't think it's going to be as bad. And then you get 200 birds in there, and it's like, now you need 60,000 liters a year. It's like, oh, okay. And with these birds, those chickens that just gave birth, in 2 months, those hens are going to give birth to another, how many birds it is. So it's going to be multiplying fast. Yeah, I'm not worried about, it's going to take forever to get 20,000 birds on the map. It's a problem of getting enough feed for those 20,000 birds on the map. So how many more wood chips do I got? Yeah, that's 3 loads. Counting this one. Melissa Liberty is back, so that's good. All the fields that we have planted for the season are 100% ready to be harvested. So we finished fertilizing the sorghum fields up by the power lines. We got the weeds taken care of over by, should we just call that the harbor field because it goes down towards the harbor? It's adjacent to it. So the harbor field, power line field, farm field where the wheat is because that's where the farm is. Hill field, I guess we could call that one. Or chicken field because it's next to the chickens, I guess, maybe. Yeah, I don't want to make more fields. I just want to expand on the fields that we have. Especially the wheat field. That might be the one I do next because we'll be harvesting that probably next episode. So with the crop out of the field, I can get back over there and start cutting down those trees. So yeah, I need to get that done up there. But we got more chickens. We'll sell the roosters as they are hatched. Well, I think we're doing the same thing with the ducks, but I'm just kind of experimenting on the ducks to make sure that the male ducks aren't actually reproducing. They shouldn't be, but I'm gonna leave them in there to see what happens, just to make sure. But anyways, yeah, everything's looking good here in the farm. It's just starting to get a little bit more nerve-wracking on keeping up with the birds on the feed, but we'll see how it goes. Step by step, we will get there. Fingers crossed. But anyways, that's going to do it for today, guys. Hopefully you guys did enjoy the episode. I do appreciate you watching as always. I'll catch you again right here in Oceanside Forest. But until then, have a good one.